We have a lot of terrific speakers on manufacturing tonight. I want to kind of, I guess, set the stage for you on some of the key issues that we're going to be talking about tonight in terms of how do we revitalize manufacturing, because we do think that the possibilities are quite promising. Manufacturing is too important to give up without a fight. Manufacturing is important to our innovation, to our research and development, to our patents. And manufacturing is a leading buyer of technology, of high technology in the United States. Manufacturing does mean jobs. There are almost 12 million people employed in manufacturing, and each of those jobs supports other jobs in the economy. And manufacturing is still a good profession, and we'll hear about that from some of our panelists tonight. If you've read some of the news, it's all about reshoring and the potential to bring work back, and we're going to have some examples of companies and unions that have worked together to do that. We have a 5-point policy proposal that I'll just briefly put up on the screen there. But there's lots of great ideas about how to strengthen manufacturing that can probably fall into any one of these buckets. And I know that we'll get into some specifics on that tonight as well.
Eastman Machine, by the way, unionized, the UAW, 125 people worked there. They embraced new technology. They embraced innovation to figure out whatever it is they were manufacturing today, they could do it more efficiently and effectively tomorrow. Now,
as many of you know, the Senator has been a strong champion for manufacturing in New York State. So I know New York manufacturers can power us through the 21st century and strengthen the Empire State's proud manufacturing tradition.
Well, we're talking about creating jobs. We're talking about bringing manufacturing back to Western New York. We're talking about closing the skills gap that exists, where there's jobs that are out there and available, but there aren't the individuals that are trained to fill those jobs. We have a bill, Centers for Workforce Achievement, that'll help to close the skills gap.
That we are becoming more and more and more the state of innovation, the state that is willing to invest in its workforce, willing to invest, yes, in change. That's a necessary aspect of the world that we live in. There is nothing more certain than change and rapid change, and we must adapt and adjust.
Are we using our economic development money to train people for the new generation of jobs in advanced manufacturing? Are we using our economic development money to bring high-road, high-wage jobs to Western New York? Unfortunately, the answer to both those questions is usually no. We're not using it properly, but I'm going to continue to work to make sure that our scarce economic development resources are brought to bear to bring high-paying jobs here. You know, great example.
We have a serious crisis in this country. We have gas lines exploding. We have water lines breaking. We have sewer lines breaking. We need bridges built. We need road repairs. We need freight. But it's not good enough to just do this stuff and get all the components or parts from overseas. We can build it right here. So we need government to understand.
The problem that the manufacturers have stated to me for the past several years is the lack of skilled workers. We're training them. We're not training enough of them. This is something that we can rectify. We have the best skilled tradesmen in the world. We just need more of them.
Well, we have a relationship where we both are working for what we both want, and that's our jobs. Joe works to make sure I stay employed every day. Okay? Everybody on that shop floor works to keep me employed. It's my job, my responsibility to work. So how do you sustain, you have that type of relationship? I can approach the local with anything. A flyer, I want to try this, I want to do that. Half the time they'll tell me I'm nuts, okay, but the other half of the time they'll receive it and they'll say, if you try this and move it this way, we can work on it.
And that's a big problem, that military skill transition. Being able to come back in a much faster way, take what they learned in the military, take those skill sets. They're more technologically advanced than your average 20-something-year-old coming out of the workforce, your average 20-something-year-old graduating college. Take these skills, quickly put them into place, revise our life experience programs, revise the certification and the training and licensing programs to get them out and off the GI Bill that much faster.
You know, an informed community is one that's not easily taken advantage of. And I think far too long we've accepted less. We talk about austerity. That's just another word out there to say you should be willing to work for less, you should be willing to have less. It's unacceptable. We can do better than that.
Is the job trainers are not training individuals for the jobs that exist. They're training them for the jobs that may have existed 20 years ago, or they think exist in our economy, but they're not training them for the jobs that actually do exist right now. And that's the sad part, is when you talk to individuals saying they can't find a job, and then you talk to an employer saying they've got jobs, they can't hire anybody, we know we need to do a better job of that.
So the governor's put money in his budget this year, which Sean Ryan and others voted to pass just recently, to make sure that we have a coordinated effort between the private sector and our labor unions, those on the ground who know what the needs of the manufacturing base and the private sector base are, and the community colleges and the universities, to make sure that indeed we're training for the available jobs in each region.